Our patrols resume, with us travelling the sectors along the former neutral zone. In this part, we will be reaching the systems that are closer to the shared border between the Klingon Empire, Federation and Romulan territory. From the Romulan stance, this area of space is most often colonised by the growing Republic, the officially recognised government of the Romulan people from the Klingons and Federation. Saying that, the first system on our list is the Rator system, which in 2391 became the seat of the Star Empire from its capital, Nova Roma. The majority of Rator 3 is mountainous forest and wildlands, but unfortunately the Star Empire really does not allow outsiders, so we cannot enter the system, and we move on. The next system is the Chulan system, which houses the starting point for a multiplayer fleet mission, which I'll cover separately when I get there, and Chulan 2 is known as Red Sand due to the Crimson Deserts that cover 60% of its surface and part of the Romulan storyline. The Orith System 2 houses nothing for us, but Orith Prime is a hydrogen-helium gas giant, with Orith 2 an M-class jungle moon orbiting it. It has a travel advisory, as Nausicaan pirates are rumoured to be using that moon as a base, and features in the mission Alpha as part of the Romulan storyline. The Dayy system is our first actual patrol mission, which was to be the site of a colony in 2378 until single-celled life was detected on Dayy 1. Raiders and pirates and the like have no regard for this, so they still use the system as a base of operations to attack Romulan trade routes. We're here to conduct a routine patrol and secure the system. The Federation has a series of listening posts in this system to dissuade such actions, but as we warp in, Tarsi informs us that Klingon raiders are attempting to destroy them. She suspects that these might be unaffiliated with the Klingon Empire, and instead have struck up a deal with the Star Empire to harass us, but who knows. In reality, we just need to fend off these attackers. It would not surprise me, however. The Romulan Empire is likely to detest having any form of UFP listening device so near to their systems. We destroy the raiders and repair the listening posts. You know, it would not surprise me to learn that Starfleet intelligence does occasionally aim these devices towards Rator 3, considering how close they are to the Empire's capital. I'm just surprised at how tolerated they are, which leads me to believe that the Romulan Empire probably feeds false information to these relays. The spycraft. Our next stop is the Vhar system. This system is technically Star Empire territory, but since Seela's reclusion, let's say, her influence has waned here. There are 2 planets and 3 moons, Tiriliu, Lioa and Kol. We have been here before, when we were taking on Hakiv, and this is where we first met Madron, the Ferengi mine owner. In terms of Federation interests, well, there is still the ongoing search for a dark matter nebula that may have been detected 2 years ago, as well as the Horta colony that we uncovered on our last visit. Last time we were here was on the Akira-class armiger in Part 19 of the story series. As we arrive in system, on her namesake, Temet informs us that our aforementioned science teams are being harassed by Romulan vessels. These ships claim that they are searching for relics from the Sundering, the time of awakening that saw the exodus from Vulcan, and while it is true that this system was a stopping point along the way, these are not Romulan science ships, and they have made no effort to actually engage in archaeology. We take out some patrol vessels before confronting a decloaking Dederedex-class warbird. As a nice detail to note, the warbird matches one recorded and noted as a Tal Shiar vessel according to our details, so that pretty much cements the falsehoods of the Star Empire's activities in this place. Our next destination is the Vinat system. This is a sore point for the Romulan Republic, and many see it as the spark that accelerated its formation. Vinat was an idyllic agricultural world that shunned outside help from both the Empire and Federation, but it was a role model to nearby worlds in the wake of the diaspora from the supernova. It is the home planet of our Romulan character and any such player, and was attacked in early 2409 by the Alachi working alongside the Star Empire and Iconians, unbeknownst at the time. To this day, repercussions are felt, both good and bad. The Romulan Republic came together from the influx of fresh refugees from Vinat, and they were instrumental in locating Dayy 3 as the site of the Republic's new homeworld, renamed New Romulus. Romulan captives too were transformed into Alachi, and some have retained their personalities, emerging as a new faction within the fungal species that we recently encountered.
Jolan True. Strength, honor, and loyalty are all we have left.
There is little left to do in this system. Maybe one day the Republic will resettle the world, but that is for them to manage. However, the Japi system is a different story. The Japi Sun is of the same class as our Sol, and orbited by 6 worlds. Japi 2 is an M-class planet, close to the meeting point of all 3 territories of the Romulans, Federation and Klingon borders, and as such, it's a major trade hub. However, much like Nimbus 3, no one power has rule here, meaning that the law is kind of lax, allowing for all sorts of commerce and smuggling through it. However, we are receiving a distress call, so we investigate, entering officially neutral space. We receive a call from a Republic warbird who informs us that they were in the middle of a survey when a Nausicaan raider team attacked, possibly from Orith in the nearby sector that they're using as their base. Either way, we step in to drive away the pirates and protect our allies. What looks like a rather easy mission soon escalates as more pirates warp in on destroyers, frigates and fighters, seemingly focused on the destruction of the Republic vessels. Unusual for pirates to want to destroy their targets, unless the planet itself is their target, in which case that would explain why there are just so damn many of them. This mission began as just fending off a small raiding team, and it ends up fending off an entire planetary assault. This is a repeatable mission, it seems, and we collect our reward, receive our thanks, and depart for the next system that needs us. The next system is yet another that features in the Romulan introductory missions, the Suon Helix system, an unofficial name. It houses a former Cabal Helix station founded sometime in the mid-22nd century that is now only sparsely inhabited. The Suliban, much like the Romulans, are a people without a homeworld, but they've been faced with far more persecution than them, being forced from planet to planet, having few colonies to call their own. The station itself is monitored, but under no official protection, except from that the Republic can afford it as a courtesy, considering how some found refuge here too. Setting off once more, our next destination is the Honod system, which lies on the very edge of Federation space, whose only claim to fame really is that Captain Kirk once called it the farthest from anywhere that you can go. There is a large asteroid field here and some local colonists, but overall the system is mostly avoided, the nearby Japi system being a much more active trade route. Despite this, as we enter this system, the local authorities contact us to ask us to investigate the damage done to a disabled freighter convoy. It could be pirates or Star Empire forces. They suspect the latter, but we need to check. On one hand, this makes a nice change of pace. There is no firefight here, no long combat mission where we have to take out 5 waves of enemies over 20 minutes, just a casual scanning and information gathering mission. It does not take us long to compile the data on the first attack and uncover traces of Romulan disruptor particles around the hull damage. Starfleet sensor systems for the win. However, we need to make sure, but it looks like the Honod authorities are correct. So I guess on that front it's nothing new, Star Empire remnants being annoying and disruptive as usual. We also detect high levels of antiprotons. Antiprotons are the antimatter of protons, and an often uncovered residual effect of certain disruptor beams, including those of the Jem'Hadar and Romulan flavours. We could also be looking at a planet-killer doomsday weapon here, but, well, in that case its stream of pure antiprotons tends to completely annihilate the target. Same with the crystalline entity, so, I doubt that. We finish compiling our investigation and send the report to the Honod Systems government for them to deal with. They thank us for our help and we are free to depart. However, before we do, I want to try something. Let's just get in some flight training. He lines it up, helm doing a good job there. Possibly a little to the left or to the right. No, it looks good. Straight through and well done. On for par. The next system we pass is the Laurentian system. This system has long been inhabited by Federation colonists and produces a lot of quadrantium, which is a material used in both replicators and holotechnologies. Because of the increase in holographic tech in Starfleet in the 25th century, business has been great for this system. It was a target of a Klingon attack during the 2409 war under General D'Ald of the IKS Karg, and artillery teams made landfall. The system also features, by name in the alternate Kelvin universe, as a Starfleet staging ground in an attempt to intercept the Narada. We pass by the Chromy cluster, which, like many others, is a noted stellar cluster for favourable colonisation attempts. There are local species here that, of course, we need to talk to before we simply move on in, and diplomatic relations are going well. Next up is the Danteri system. There is a Ferengi colony here founded in 2343, and it has since developed into a thriving trade hub. Danteri 3 is often full of work for anyone looking, overseen by the Danteri Trade Commission. As we enter the system, first we notice how amazing the lighting makes us look, that's a wallpaper right there, and then we are contacted by Nulia, who tells us that the DTC wishes to talk with us. We close to orbit the planet, and we're hailed by the Trade Commissioner. This Ferengi tells us that the corporate disputes are commonplace, but this is the first time that it has dissolved into a firefight on the surface. Two trading houses have started shooting, and the Commission wants it dealt with, as all negotiations until now have been resolved peaceably. The Federation was asked to negotiate a ceasefire so that trade could continue, so we beam down to investigate. Arriving on the planet's surface, we're surrounded by strange jungle-like flora and seemingly lava flowing in the rocky formations. Pretty sure we've seen something like this before, but we're not here to look at the scenery. We're here to talk with Araglo, discounts commodities. Arriving at his warehouse and offices, we can find the alien Araglo flanked by two mercenaries and ask him to recount what happened. He first complains that the Trade Commissions threatened to pull a tariff on all his goods if he did not agree to negotiate, and that a merchant named Glaran is the problem. If we ask him why him and Glaran came to exchanging fire, Araglo tells us that Glaran has stolen his wares over the past 3 months. However, Araglo is also quick to point out that he has no proof. He's also being unreasonable in not wanting to talk to Glaran, saying that if he even comes near him, he will kill him. We take a long walk around the complex to see that there are a myriad of workers assembling crates to be shipped off. This looks like some form of packing plant where goods are probably transported away to docks elsewhere. Over the ridge, we can find more offices which appear to be the headquarters for Glaran's business, and are surprised to find a very similar looking alien. This Glaran is far more ready to talk than Araglo, and that he only fought back because of Araglo's thugs and public accusations ruining his reputation. However, Glaran does say that his mercenaries did get a little too overzealous and smashed up Araglo's place of business. When we tell him of Araglo's accusations, Glaran blames Nausicaan pirates, and we ask if Glaran is amenable to the idea of replacing the missing goods should it end the violence, and Glaran says that if there is a legitimate issue, he will pay for it. Also, they are siblings. We bring the news back to Araglo, who says that he will only stand down if he gets his cargo back. We offer to scan Glaran's goods to determine if it is stolen property or not, and Araglo gives us a list of what is missing. Well, bad news. We do indeed find Araglo's missing items among Glaran's wares. This does not look good, and we can bring this up to Glaran to find that he knew about the Nausicaan pirates because he does business with them, purchasing their stock. And it looks like in this instance, Araglo was robbed by the Nausicaans, then they sold the take to Glaran, sparking this dispute. Glaran agrees to pay his brother for the wares, and we take this back to Araglo, who accepts the resolution, agreeing that Glaran is not entirely to blame here. Also, every time we speak to Araglo, he's changed his mercenary guard. Are you you doing that on purpose? Or do they just have, like, very short shifts? You know what, either way, we're done here. We return to the Armiger in orbit and prepare to depart. Our next destination is the Zarantine system. This system is full of micronebula, 3 of which contain protomatter, and it has changed hands a lot, especially during the Dominion War. Recently, Starfleet has established a trade agreement with the Zarantine government to access this protomatter, and although outside of the Federation, it's historically been very accommodating of it. The nearby Kern system, however, has a repeatable mission from the mycelial rift issues we faced a while ago. The primary planet here is an S-class ultra-giant with a 47,000 km diameter and 394 degree Kelvin surface. We pass by this system to visit the Sadia system, which sits at the edges of Federation space near to the Klingon border. In this system, the supergiant has a ring rich in topaline and perugium materials, which the Janus Mining Corporation owns the rights to mine from a series of collector stations around the ring, and also compounds from the planet's atmosphere. As we arrive, we receive a distress call from the SS Rover's Captain Dayy Trix, who tells us that they are evacuating the staff of these facilities due to Gorn attacks. This system is not near Gorn space, which itself lies beyond the Cestus system further south of where we are. But Gorn is part of the Klingon Empire now, and thus allowed free travel through their space. This is abused by Gorn, who do not agree with the hegemony's position within the Empire and act out, striking wherever they please. This could be one such raid, or perhaps a migratory attack heralded by some solar activity. Either way, having seen the savagery of Gorn boarding actions, we need to get these civilians out of here. This mission, however, is a painful escort mission that has us take the slow SS Rover from mining collector to collector while we protect it from the Gorn vessels. It evacuates the crew as fast as it can before immediately warping out of the sector as soon as the last of the 6 stations are evacuated. That mission took a very long time, and as we leave, we're caught in the gravity well of the star and unable to leave due to quantum we were glitched into the geometry. The last system in this sector block, however, is the Trimble system, home to a planet that is very similar to Vulcan, although slightly cooler. As there are no issues here, we're ready to depart and enter into Klingon space for the next series of patrol missions, putting Federation territory behind us for now. But until that part, thank you for exploring the Star Trek Online galaxy with me, and I hope you join me for the further missions of the USS Armiger. Until then, I've been Rick, thanks again, and goodbye.